I really recognize that life is not for sure, that at any moment, as Carlos Castaneda said, death is always in our ear, waiting to whisper those words, "Welcome home." And with that thought in mind, I said to myself, if I'm the one who lived, if I'm the child that survived this, then I have not an obligation, but an opportunity to really be free, because it's after you lose everything that we're free to do anything. And so I really recognized early on, having lost what I consider everything, having lost a family, having lost a semblance of childhood, to go into this place within myself where I said, okay, this is life. And life is, to a great extent, an opportunity to experience everything our hearts desire. And so I determined very early on to fall in love with life, as it were. That is, to fulfill my potential in every way, to speak as many languages as I could, to travel to as many countries as I could, to experience as many experiences that would expand my consciousness and my spirituality and my sense of caring. And I really began to fall in love with life. I call it my second innocence, if you will. Or this holy re-bewilderment over every detail. From the moment I wake up in the morning, the very first words that escape my tongue are, "Fill me up with light and pour me out as love. Fill me up with light and pour me out as compassion. Fill me up with light and pour me out as tenderness." And from there, it really becomes a living mantra. If one could just see the inherent potential beauty in every heartbeat and breath. And I can say this with absolute sincerity, because after having experienced the ugliness of life, having known that side of the world, I still maintain that life is the most beautiful experience we could hope for in this moment, to be actively in the moment. And to know that being in the present moment is a gift, that if we would just unwrap our souls of this paper-thin illusion separating us from Source, that we would discover within ourselves that each of us have a gift to offer, and some of us have dozens, if not hundreds, of gifts to offer the world, and that's where our purpose lies, in remembering what we knew as children, which was that life is magic. That despite the pain and the darkness, that life can be beautiful, and that we are the ones who determine the outcome of our destiny, and no one and nothing else has the power to do so. So if we have this one life, the thought occurred to me, why not live it to the fullest? Why not experience it in every way one can experience it, towards expansion, towards enlightened states? And I say enlightened because if you break that word down, you really get in the light we end. So for me, becoming an embodiment of that joy and exuberance, that fascination, I see life, I see the moment, I see each being as my lover. Not that I literally go to people with a physical urge, but that my spirit is constantly reaching out to each being that I meet, and acknowledging in each eye I see. My heart is always saying what I hear Spirit say to me, which is, my love for you is infinite and everywhere. And I find myself saying that in almost every breath. My love for you is infinite and everywhere. And I encourage any heart listening to this voice right now to begin saying that to yourself and to every being, because ultimately the universe just wants us to know that it loves us, and that love is written into every river, tree, rock, molecule, face, heart. And if we can just see ourselves for what we really are, and each other, and really stop judging, not just each other but the world at large, to have a sense of non-judgment, and to say, this experience, whether it feels good or bad, is part of my expansion. And therefore, let me immerse myself in it and become one with the moment of being present. And that's really where this exuberance comes from. This deep inspiration I feel in my heart really stems from a great desire one intention in my life, and that is to inspire every atom, cell, molecule, heart in existence to rise together in love. We focused on falling enough. I think if we can just untie our wings, as it were, that together we could rise to a place of expanded consciousness where judgments no longer predominate our conversations or the way that we look at each other, but rather we could begin to see each other through God's eyes, as it were. If that happens, suddenly everyone becomes a Dalai Lama, as it were. Everyone becomes his and her holiness. And I discovered that by just beginning to see everyone as God itself, every molecule. And so oftentimes I can be found outside at night, blowing kisses to every star in the sky, and with each breath saying, I love you, and then suddenly the exhilaration will take me to the grass, and I'll say, each blade of grass, I love you, and then to every heart in the world to send out that same genuine, sincere desire to let them know that they are loved, and that we are one, and that in the deepest parts of who we are, there is nothing but pure connectedness. I'm talking about us becoming that living water and really being the transformers, the shifters of reality, as it were, because this generation, I believe, is the generation that's going to do what no generation before us has managed to do yet. And simply because we are primed, we are ready for this transformational shift to occur in consciousness. It's beginning to occur on the world scene. But more importantly, I think, as hearts are awakening into their pure potential of what they really could be, what I see is a return of the prophets, a return of the shamans, a return of the healers, of the medicine people. I see this generation rediscovering who they really are, and because of that, being able to transition from the old moral codes, the old archaic ways of masculine dominance, the old archaic ways of inequality and suffering, into a new paradigm, a new living embodiment, which is compassion, which is kindness, which is that perennial thread that flows through every prophet from every corner of the globe, which says to really respect everyone, despite their disrespect of us, to have the courage to respect everyone, despite that disrespect that we might experience. Because when that happens, things will never be the same.